everyone, and welcome to the Londonderry View, our special edition. These shows are going to be to highlight our candidates who are willing to take a chance for all of us. So tonight, right now, we have our Kate Burbidge with us, who's running for the Budget Committee position, 3-year Budget Committee. And Kate, thank you so much for being here with us tonight.
Thank you so much for
having
me.
We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about yourself, your past,
Sure,
all
yeah,
those
I'd love
things.
to. So I'm currently a member of the Budget. I was appointed in September of last year. There are a couple of people who resigned, and I went through the process with the town council to get appointed. So I've been through this year's budget season, which was really fun and a great learning experience. Oh man, it was so great to balance learning from the town council and the school board. So that was great. But I grew up in New Hampshire. I grew up in Derry, just the town over, so I graduated from Pinkerton.
As did I.
Yeah. And then I went to college down in Boston. I went to Simmons, and I graduated with a degree in economics, and I minored in finance. And then I immediately went into grad school, and I got my MBA. So yeah, that was a great learning experience. So I've got a knack for business and numbers and budgeting and finance and that kind of stuff. So after I got my master's, I started working in consulting and project controls and project management. So I do change management, risk management, scheduling, budgeting, all that fun stuff that goes with program controls. I usually work on mega programs, and so for people who aren't familiar with mega programs, they are programs that have budgets of over $1 billion. And so I work on some very large programs, and I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun work. So part of the reason I'm running is I feel I get a lot from my community, and I feel like what I take from my community, I should also give back. And I have skills, and I love Londonderry. I want to see Londonderry grow and flourish and be here for centuries to come. And I think part of that is having people with the right backgrounds and the right behaviors and thoughts, and to contribute to the community. And so I feel I have a responsibility, and it's also a privilege to serve. So that's part of the reason I'm here.
That was beautifully
Very
said.
good.
Oh,
Very
thank
much
you.
so.
Very nice.
Yeah. And you have kids, you said? You have
Yes, I have
children?
4 kids. I have 2 kids in the school system right now, one who's a freshman in high school, and then a second grader over at Matthew Thornton. And then I have 2 kids who are too young for the school system, who are 2 and 5. Ezra will be starting kindergarten in the fall. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
so,
different.
yeah,
that's
they
nice.
love school. It's a great school system. Part of the reason we moved here is because of the schools. So, I found Derry because we lived in Massachusetts for a while, we were thinking of coming back up. We looked at some of the surrounding communities to Londonderry, but we think that Londonderry does a really great balance of balancing, the needs of the community and the needs of each student. And, they do a really phenomenal job, especially with kids who are not, a traditional kind of student. And so for all of my kids, don't have special needs, but if they do, I've heard wonderful things about the special needs in our school system. So, yeah, I love it. I love it here.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Yeah. So.
Now, how long have you been in Londonderry?
So we bought our house just short of the COVID-19 pandemic. So August of 2019 is when we closed. So my kids were in school for a couple of months, and then the next thing you know, we're all. But it's now. I've been trying to get back into my community and doing more things. And this has been a wonderful experience. I have enjoyed so much getting to know the people in this community. I've gotten to know you a little bit better. I know the police chief and the fire chief, and I know the people on the town council and the school board, and they're all great. I love working with them. I love that we have a variety of backgrounds, a variety of different opinions. I think that's one of the things that makes us great, and I think that it's wonderful that we're able to collaborate in that way and see people's different perspectives. And so, I value that, and I hope my perspective is something that has brought something to the budget committee. I'm really big into numbers and data analysis, and so I've kind of been like, hey, annoying person who's done the math on this. Let's talk about this. Those kinds of things. So I really enjoyed that.
That's nice, a voice of reason.
That's
too.
what makes the budget committee work, though, is if you have the different people with different
Yes.
backgrounds, and they all have their little part in the cog, or whatever you want to call it.
That's true, that's
Because
true.
you
Yeah.
don't want to have everyone the same. It would be just it wouldn't work. I mean, you know,
Yep.
you would have
I
it
agree.
wouldn't
Definitely
work.
wouldn't
Yeah.
work.
I agree, you know, and that can be a variety of different backgrounds, ages, you know, things like that. I think it's really important that, you know, we have that. And the budget committee was 7 people. There's a lot of us. And that's, you know, I think a great thing for us too. So, yeah, I think it's been wonderful to really make a difference in the community. I've only been on it for a few months, but I know what kind of a time commitment, you know, it is to go to all
You
of
got
the
thrown
budget
in right there,
meetings
right?
and all that fun stuff. Yeah, we just wrapped that up, and that was fun. You know, I enjoyed looking at the budget books. I enjoyed looking at the data. I enjoyed, you know, pulling things apart and talking about things and thinking about things in a different way. You know, we had a budget committee meeting last week, and one of the things Ryan, a member of the committee, asked me was, you know, what was one interesting takeaway that you've had from being on the budget committee thus far? And I found it so interesting to think about budgeting from a more personal perspective, because, you know, when I am doing budgeting and stuff in my line of work, it's not my money. But when I'm thinking about budgeting here, it is my money. I pay property taxes just like everybody else in this community. And so it's so important to, that emotional aspect was not something I was anticipating. But it's so important to understand that, you know, it's my money, it's your money, it's our money, and how that gets budgeted and spent, I think is really, really important. And so, you know, taking the time and the consideration to be thoughtful about that is something that, you know, the emotional pull of it, I wasn't expecting that.
like
But yeah, I thought it's been very rewarding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or that
Yeah.
one pocket idea.
Yes.
You know, that the idea that it's the one pocket
Yeah.
and your votes really do matter on the ballot.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
Most definitely.
At times we all look at like, well, what now? Is it like 1 to 6 or what were the budget committee's thoughts
Oh, I
on
take
that?
that very
Oh, I
seriously.
do
That's
too.
Yeah,
what they
the warrant
advise.
articles too.
Mhm.
I mean, those were great.
Yeah.
Like when we were thinking about the fire department warrant article, for an example, 1 in every 3 members of this community is over the age of 55. And so when you think about, you know, potentially needing more paramedics and more firefighters for emergency services, we have an aging community. I think it's, you know, I voted to approve that, and I voted yes for that, because I think it's really important that we service and help, you know, that community. It's part of our community because they are a big part of it. And so, you know, that was really interesting to think about that, because, you know, you think about what the town is, who the town is made of,
Absolutely,
you know, that
right.
kind of stuff. So you got to think about it from a bunch of different angles. It's not always about what I want,
Right,
it's about
yeah.
what would be best for the community.
And
So.
20 years down the road.
Right,
Right.
exactly.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's
That was
fantastic.
excellent.
Yeah,
Kate.
yeah,
my
the investment in the
goodness.
future. So,
Boy.
yeah.
Okay, now, why don't you wrap up and you can
Sure.
talk to the people.
Sure,
and,
yeah. Yeah, so Kate Burbidge, running for a 3-year term on the Budget Committee. I hope some of what I've said today has earned your vote. You know, I would really love to serve another 3 years, past the few months that I've done. I think I've got a great background, a lot of strengths, and I just love Londonderry and want to do well for us. So thank you so much for having me on here. I really appreciate that.
Thank you for
Thank you
coming on.
yeah,
and
thank
good
you very
luck.
much. Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yep.